that Wi-Fi, thinking that Airtel wasn't working. Nga tulaba na Uganda bwavuga asereni bbiri oba bayigirawo emmotoka. This road is a 3-lane road. So there are cars that are supposed to go on the right ezigenda ebwayise. There are cars that are supposed to go on the left ezigenda to Chebando, and then there are cars in the middle that are meant to just go straight. This person of this RAV4 here, the blue RAV4, has taken up 2 lanes. A very bad way of driving. In a 2-lane road, you're supposed to be in 2 lanes. You don't drive in the middle of 2 lanes. You take up 1 lane. In a road of 3 lanes, you don't take up 2 lanes. You get, you decide which lane you're in, no sigara mweyo. Okitegeera ono waliwo n'owakawunda ali wano gwe nayisizza babadde bo bavuze batyo mu lane 2 era you're going to see the kawundo person. Tebamanyi mmotoka. Ekyo ne bagamba nti abantu abasinga kasitaafunamu akasente akagula SUV olwamanya amanyi emmotoka. Okitegeera, and that's not how it works. Mukama amusaasira aleme kunkulugula. Because simanyi oba bayigirawo emmotoka. You decide 1 lane. But good morning, my people. Today is a Monday. Yeah, it's a very bright Monday. The sun is shining. The weather is good. Bob Malako. And you know that means that my phone wants to overheat. Normally when the weather is like that, Arthur's phone wants to overheat. It's like it was sent to overheat on such days. So today we are talking about time. But now, sorry guys, I don't know how this thing muted. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? But nanga can't cover the kakadeko muting a city get day. Can you hear me, guys? Yes. How did this thing mute itself? Nah, you get Devi Gamba Bananga and you get Devi into. Whoa. Since I could be damn over Devi. Now I know what they meant when they said talking to yourself. Katinchimani. Attend you get the new. What William Sajawara from Labira for your brain, but the maso. Yabada abisereni bidi nenchogerako Steve Barros narete chemipi da nenchogerako pade aregami Mother's Day nenjogera ku bitu ya Mother's Day biyitirivu wo mama bali nakola wano ayogera obutono tono wano nze ngamanyi muwulira now I know what they mean when they say talking to yourself. But how are you, my people? Muli bulungi. Today we are going to be talking about time. Because when it's time, it's time. And the power that time has over. Do you guys realize that time has power over us? Anti bagirani babakwata Museveni nasooka ayitawo n'abasajja then balyoka babata ekitegeera. So today we are going to be talking about time. Time has power over us. And majority of the time, internet MTN MiFi when MTN is disappointing. Disappointing and your Airtel is not that good. Atakati ngenya denguze MTN sekibedde na data asigadeko ku Airtel. Daba atusalako namanya mukama bwa yagadde. Kyabate tunacha chikolera. You know, MTN internet is showing that it's there, it's connected. No, it doesn't work. That's why I was even late. For 2 minutes I was trying to connect the app. Ninga internet egani. So data bwa tusalako mumanye mu data aweddeko. Sikuba simukebedde. I thought I would be using the MTN MiFi. I'm disappointed that internet yabo nyiguze ya sente nyingi. Chimenya. Ninga mwasuze mutya. Ebiseera ebisinga otugamba when it's time. Ngaba na Uganda ebiseera ebisinga bensanga. They think of death. That death is death, that you will die whether you like it or not. And yes, we will die whether we like it or not. But time has an aspect that is not just about death. You get what would they engage able to wambamu? For example, whether you like it or not, if you give birth to kids, time is going to come and they'll have to go to school. So school fees to mubuka, that time is coming. And of course, one of the things that probably everyone is scared of is that whether you like it or not, a time is going to come and you're going to be weak and you'll not be able to work as hard as you work now. You get, time is going to come. You may not even die. You may live 120 years. But between 60 or 70 and 120, what are you doing? How are you earning? How are you eating? Especially for the men. The ladies have something. Their kids have a soft spot for them. So the kids will always come back to see their mothers. But the kids might not come back to see their fathers. Now for us as men, that's something we have to think about. Time is time. Time takes over whether you like it or not. And time doesn't just take over during sad moments. It doesn't just make us sad. But time also makes us happy. You get it? Whether you like it or not, you know, you've heard of this thing when they say whether you like it or not, we will not in your resources. After a hill, there goes a slope. After a slope, there go your extreme. yeyagala tuyisa naye nyine bolokanga ne bwe bampiyetya siisa bantu bwefa. You don't give me an extra and expect me to be overtaking people driving that fast. What if it dies? The buyers would just have to first go away. I've seen so many people that struggle with X-trails. The X-trail might find someone to buy it in the because trouble will be coming soon. So anyway, time is time. Time doesn't make us sad only, but time makes us happy. Whether you like it or not, as a person you fall in love, then your heart gets broken, then you fall in love again, and then you be happy there and there, and then the time comes and then you wish that you had the other person you had, and then time will come back when you say, yeah, time, time has that thing, yeah. And when they sent what goes around comes around, they are simply telling you that time is going to come. Right now you're going up a hill, but tomorrow you'll be going down a slope. We'll stay here. So sometimes we want to speed up time, we want to make time hurry. We'll stay here. You see the things I've been telling you. Togura SUV, let time work it out. We'll stay here. Let time work it out. The thing of we have been talking about the thing of renting versus building your home. I find that thing time also takes care of it. Which time take care of it. The only trouble is if you don't care about using your time very well. When that time comes, from performing arts to everyone has this time. And when your time comes, it's just the few that have stayed at the top for a very long time. But most people don't stay at the top for a very long time, because that's the rule. That's how life works. That your time will come, you'll be at the top, and then time will come and you go down. So you just have to be ready for that time when you go down, because it's going to come and you'll go down. You'll go. It's only chameleon. You see, even Bebe Cool is not at the top anymore. Right now we don't even know who is at the top. And I think because we don't know who is at the top, still those guys are still at the top. Kati abana bali ku top, bitwali roza nti bali ku top tebalina kya makulu nnyo kye bakola. Babeera boogera boogezi, tebalina makulu nnyo mu music. These guys used to do music, and like every other couple of months, one of them actually brings a hit. Every other couple of months, one of them would bring a hit, and you dance to that. And then we have a narrator. And then it was the three guys that were ruling the airwaves, which take it. But these days, who is ruling? Nekenzo Yagwa. Which take it. Nekenzo Yagwa, Anikati Aliko, Rema Yagwa. I don't know if it's me who is not listening to music, but when a hit is a hit, of course, me, I've been listening to my book. So what prompted me to do this broadcast? On Saturday I was at office, so I have a hard drive where I back up literally all my stuff. So on that hard drive I have pictures and videos from 2010, and I looked at myself, and I looked at the work we were doing then, and I'm amazed. At that time we were doing good work, but nobody saw. Nobody saw at that time. But now when you look at something, I was with one of the people I work with, and she said, Mr. Director Tori Waka. She said Tori Waka. Like I did during that time period, I did a lot of stuff, but it wasn't the time. It just wasn't the time. And sometimes we make mistakes, and you blunder here, you lose money there, because it's the time to lose money. It's the time because you have to learn. So kati oyinza okugezako to stop the mistakes koleme kuzikola nenga atero ino kuzikola, because when you don't make your mistakes earlier on in life, you're going to make your mistakes in your 40s and 50s. That's a fact. I know people that made mistakes in their 40s and 50s, and now if you make mistakes in your 40s and 50s, chances are high you're going to pay for them in your chances are high you're going to pay for those mistakes in your 60s and 70s. And I've seen a lot of people that made mistakes in their 40s and 50s. Now I made a lot of my mistakes in my 20s. I think I'm still making mistakes, but I think right now I'm making some mistakes when I know. I was talking to Mama Aban still on Saturday. It's when I saw those videos. I saw a video of me performing live on stage with live band at a festival. I'm going to share that video. And then I saw a video. No, there were two videos. There was one video when we were performing at the cricket. The cricketers have an association, and that year they were celebrating. I think one of them had won something, and my band was performing there. And then what other thing did I see? I saw two videos of me performing at a festival, and then that one, and then I saw images of me at 20, at 21, at 22. You get, and I saw how small I was, and then time, guys, time, and then this chick going corner, she saw the pictures. Nagamba, Nainga, you don't look like that person. Nemugambo yo yenze, that is me. And then I realized that's literally why I started doing gym, because I realized nze naisi jja kufuna nyama, nze nganze kube waffe tewaliyo bantu balina nyama, tebaliyo tewafe abantu abasinga batono. I think actually I'm like nze gye banzaala ewaffe gye banzaala my dad's side. I think I'm one of the biggest now. Ate nga obunene obwange bwakyuma. Okitegera obunene obwange si bwa masavu, obunene obwange si bwa mirembe, si bwa mmere, obunene obwange bwaki, obunene obwange I opened that door because amatala gaba mwegalie. My lights are on auto, so they put themselves on and off. So when you turn off the engine and the doors are still closed, the lights stay on. So you open a little and the lights turn off and then you close back again. So yeah, JK, when you know, does it still qualify as a mistake? No. When you know it's not a mistake, but there are mistakes we do, and then after making it, you realize, okay, I made that mistake. I think that person that realizes the mistake immediately is not as bad as the person that doesn't realize. I'm still wondering how I survived. When I was driving, when I was in my 20s, like let's say all my 20s. Give me that phone. Where is it? It's in the bag. Even in my 20s, I'm asking myself how I drove on the road. I don't even know. I don't know even how I survived, because I realized like I started driving when I was 20, and when I was 20, when someone is 20, they don't know nothing. They don't. Nothing. When in my 30s, I literally know nothing. But when you're 20, you know nothing. But the funny thing is, you think you know everything. Omuntu wabera in their 20s, they think they know. Actually, abantu bafana kokuloza nti bamanyi when they are like 13, natandika okulaba nga bazadde bete balina amagezi njakuba bano. Yabazaamu amagezi nga bansinikirako amannyo balowooza nze simanyi. And I think parents know that in their teenage, they know nothing. So they knew nothing. So they know when I woman tomanyi. That's why they try to keep guiding. Me, I find that the problem that happened with me is I started making some money when I was 16, when I started going abroad. And I think somehow my entire family just gave up. I've realized that our families, nadala fa wakwide mu family enjavu. Omwana bwatandika okufuna ku sente ate nga bamwejjako. Nze one time my grandmother said, nze namuleka wa sente, but I was young, I was an idiot, I knew nothing. But then I realized it was time. It was just time. Edwin Mugerwa, Travel Life Vlog, good morning. Nathan, says Kagaba, men will die alone. That's why men need to prepare. Fabasaja to know nyo. That's where now we are in the age of technology. Buli musajja wali yali badayigayo omulimu ogw'omutwe ng'osobola ogukola ng'otuddeawo, so that if your kids go and all they think about is their mother, you have something that occupies you. It's important oberenga wengo omusajja, you can be occupied without actually thinking abana banankubira. Have a community of men that support you. I think that's one of the reasons lwaki nze wano katisina stress. Nze nzija wano, I talk to people every day, and I hope I can have the privilege of having people to talk to every day. And abasajja twetaaga something like that. We need a community that supports us, because whereas women are supported by the kids, who supports us? But time, today ku time guys. I'm going to read that agenda ligula mazzi ku office jibu yaweddeyo yenna. Nine chupa bbiri mu motoka njagala genda zi replacing. Ate eri ewaffe waliyo omyaye mubbi. Amazzi agongeramu sente nnyingi nnyo, kati I just come and buy from this way. So time guys, when I was 20s nali simanyi byenkola, and it's not just about cars, it's about everything. Buli kintu kye wakolanga when you're in your 20s, Mukama yakutaasanga butaasa. When you think back, Mukama yakutaasanga butaasa. Of course in the 20s waliwo abaana abamu abaali balowooza okusinga kufe. Okitegeera, it also depends on the exposure the kids have. Bazadde be bali batya, guidance gy'alina. Ebiseera ebimu ebyo byonna biyambako omwana okubeera either more knowledgeable than others oba obutabeera. Okitegeera. Me, I think in my 20s I was on my own, totally on my own, and I don't want to leave my kids to be on their own in their 20s. Okujjako ng'oba preparing from a young age. Kids need support in their 20s. Omwana emyaka 22, 23 paka kwa 25 abeta tannamanya kyakola, abatannamanya kyazzaako. I think the thing that would help, for example, abazadde abaana, one thing I've realized is that bw'ozaala abaana bwe bagenda ku university, if you can help them get into a structured community, a structured environment, n'abanga akola. That's why the young people that get jobs either at campus or after campus, they kind of figure out life in a way, because they get structure. Amanya kino kidda wano abatalina structure from home ne babatagina, but at least badda ku mulimu abayo ne mukamaawe amugambo inazuka sawa ezitinotuuka wano ku mulimu, ebyo bintu tebabikwata bwe, but that is reckless, this is irresponsible. Kati waliwo oba Arthur yatandika okutandika obuntu bwe nga alina emyaka 16 in my S4 VAC. That's when I did my drama group eyasooka. So from the time I was in my teenage, I was starting stuff. Kati Mukama bw'atakukwatirako for your things to work out quickly, you realize that ndeka gwe mpitewo naye nate bw'oba oyingira ekkubo olina okubeera very careful. N'ababoda bamantaala gamba kale kangenda kugula amazzi wano. I'm going to leave you watching the road still nga luli naye ono yayina bwenyimiriddeko. Niwe abantu bajibu business model yaabwe bakolera. Oyina jibu era talina. So where am I going to buy jibu now? Ekinya kijja kunyonoonera emipiira. But I cannot go this way anymore. Can I? No. Kati katulumbeeri. Mwe guy, I realize nze nali sina kyemmanyi, but time teaches you. That's why the most important thing for us to do as people is try to keep alive. Try as much as you can to stay alive, because when you stay alive, at least you can look back and laugh, you can look back and smile, you can look back and say, now naitawo okitegeera. So one of the most important things for us to do as naddala abasajja is you stay alive and disease free, because it's nacho chikulu ekyokusigala ngo there is this guy gwe balinga interviewing some time back aina sirimu, and the way he was talking, he really wishes he hadn't been irresponsible with his life, because ati aina ekiwuka and of course bamande batulagane mukazi we ono gayi yasomba ekiwuka, and man, you need to try as much as possible to stay alive and healthy. Olime kubeera nga oli mulamu naye ng'olina ekiwuka, so awo olina okwambala ennyo. Alina okwambala tekiri so trendy, byandibanga tebinyuma nnyo naye yambala. Don't drink and drive. Kinyuma nnyo n'osigala ng'oli mulamu ng'amagulu go gonna ogayina, nga you have both your legs, you have both your arms, nga your brain is working perfectly. That's one of the reasons why I don't ride motorcycles. That's the reason why I don't take borders as much. I try to avoid borders whenever I can. I also try to avoid crossing the roads, Ugandan roads. I can count for you the number of times I've crossed the road this year. Even last year, I can count the number of times. Why? Because with the Ugandan drivers, it's very unpredictable. You don't know when that dude is going to knock you down. You don't know when a border is going to come and these guys of Jibu have a business model that kale kamala okulaba ebyamazzi wano. Jibu yabuze. Jibu got lost. Ne banu nabo ebidomola babina naye ebikalu. Bikalu. That's when you know your business model is working. These Jibu guys, batandika no mpola. But if you have some money and you have been thinking of which franchise to invest in, I would actually recommend you invest in Jibu. But Jibu is a business you should invest in a place, either a residential place of corporates or an area that is full of businesses. Because businesses buy those Jibu tap bottles. Because the tap bottle makes it easy. You don't need to invest in those refrigerators where you put the bottle and still the water still does the job. So that's one thing that I think Obaba got $1 million, Obaba Satu as capital. Kwezo center kufuna renti ne baku branding n'ofuna kamazi agatandika. That's for you to be a distributor level. Ngati bana abo supermarket bonna gwaba abawa okitegeera. That's something that I think I would never nebidomola yawe nabange ebikalu nebyaba no bikalu. That's how you know a business model is working. We have been to 3 places now neyo nayonjirabi, and all bottles are empty. But also that points at a weakness that maybe during the weekend the supplier of this area is not good, because as a supplier you would have to deliver water to all those places. But I like agenda call a distribution now. Yeah, time guys, time is important. Keep alive, and not just alive, also keep healthy. Joshua Julia moro kanti buli moro kekubagana okusinzira wawo ogivugidde nenge ejo ogivuzemu. Ojiwulira kayate these cars that have big dashboards, mubamu obuntu muli nti jukira these guys that manufacture these cars, they don't foresee you driving this car in these kind of roads. Emoroka zokka ze bas foreseeing okubeera in this kind of roads ziziri off-road. Atela when you look at those cars, they don't have big dashboards. Their dashboards are really tiny. They try to limit the electronics as much as well. You get now the modern times, I don't know, but when you look at most of the off-road vehicles, they don't have a lot of components in their dashboards. But limiting nyo. time, guys. Time is important. The other thing probably I thought about is the evolution of the people that are in your life. People come in your life and go with time, and whether you like it or not, every person has a time to go. Every person has that time, and I think that's the reality that we don't want to get into our heads. Someone can actually be a very good friend of yours, probably get a job and go to a certain country far away, and at that time they can no longer keep contact, but they are still your friend, and they go. Sometimes people be struggling with things in their own lives, but their time has come to actually go and probably live life without you. It doesn't make them bad, it doesn't make them evil, it's just time has dictated. Then there is this evolution of cars in your life. Cars. You guys, when I baby fan, that's when I saw my Chivina, I saw my Kaldina, I also saw the Dudu. I'm going to find the picture where I have a Kayongeza. I think the only picture I have of a Kayongeza is the picture that has my cousin. Nali mutwala ku ssomero. And that one, for her privacy, I can't share. But I don't know, take kuba nyina ifa cha Kayongeza obanga tutagende gomba. Kayongeza chikumi saji kuba bifananyi. And during that time it wasn't really a thing. And adalanze, it took me a lot of time to actually buy a smartphone. Ngasijagala. I was dating Mama Aban and she would have all those nice phones, but me, those are questions that I used to ask myself. I used to buy those cheap techno smartphones because ngasira ba mugaso kwa simu ya bei. Until one time we were doing a campaign, and in that campaign we did to take good pictures and good videos, and then the chick that was working with me at that time, but then kuita no wali wakulu wanzo okuba ejibu enoteri shwadi kanchuke. And the chick that was working with me at that time had a Samsung Galaxy S7 and it took very lovely pictures, almost the pictures that you would take with the Canon camera. And then she's the one that took me to her plug, and I got my first Samsung, the 7 you get it. And of course it wasn't that expensive, but still me, I was doing a lot of math. So I was asking myself, why should I be buying an expensive phone still? So I bought the S7 and it worked really well. And at that time, everyone was saying the Samsung Galaxy S7 had the best camera and all. But I think it's because most people could only afford the Samsung Galaxy S7 Still, it has to do with time. Right now, people can afford better phones, bigger phones. You get more expensive phones because they have the money, which take a year. So time has a way of ruling over us, deciding what we should get at what time. My time, I feel, is moving fast because I'm 32 years, but I'm on pressure of constructing a house for my children to come. Don't be on pressure. Don't be, and time doesn't move so fast. No. And time is not about age, travel life log. Time is not about age. Your time might mean just the time for things to happen. You get it? And travel life log, there are people that will build like Arthur, but there are also time who will build in 1 week, in 1 month, in 2 months, and nyumba negwanga finishing here now with them. So ngate wali ba Arthur bazimbire emyaka 5 okitegeera bano tebakyalina jibu bano namulanga ujibu. You get it? So travel life vlog, don't be on pressure. Every time you feel like a pressure kakutwala, just know something is not right. Something is wrong with Jeep, but the sentence of every time you feel like you're on pressure to make something happen, just know something is not right. Relax, just shut down for some time, reboot. Because the way time works for us, it doesn't put you on pressure. As we are recall, banainze kati achitegeza se azawu ye kwali naye azawu era taliko byamaanyi. You know what it means okubeera ko JK. music okubeera nga yaliko kitegeeza buli woyita gwe bakuba. Of course naffe tumukozesa mu bulango bafuba TikTok right now. What hurts is kids can even take away your wife when they've built her for her house. Kati abasajja bo balina okumanya. King Saha yaliko. Mwe bagay. Do you know what? Do you remember Love You Every Day? I will love you every day. Hey, hey. Hey, I even have a video when I'm doing I Love You Every Day live on band. So when naliko nange. Gwe, chekitegeeza okubeerako. This is when it's the music gwe bakubabuliwamu kitegeeza okubeerako. Saha taliko. Forget about the trends. Bana abasajja bakamiirye bakubanga ennyimba out of their own inspiration, not even about trending topics. Naye nga bakwata yoliba lwa Saha nalulabye olwo lwakolima. Alinga eyakabiraba. Alinga eyakabiraba ati si birungi. Ffe twabiraba dda. Naye nga munnange ate onookola ki? Ng'osirika akakasozi mukalaba. Akakasozi, that's where Kavera used to bring me to practice manual. I'd come in mind. Naye olanga akasozi ako kamalako kulaki yange avuga kibina. Ye nga buli lwojjawo wiki emu oba okyusiza clutch anti ng'ewunya neggwako. And I'm sure most people when they learn kasoyi go kumasali kaso mastering nga kana akasozi woyize muruka ya manual. Kati ako olaba naffe abamanya aka akasozi tukaagala. It's tough. It's really tough. Good morning, JK. Sakubuzizaako JFK Arts. When you know, does it still qualify as a mistake? I think it's not really a mistake. No, ebichupa bikalu. Supplier wenu side si mulungi nnyo. You saw a video sometime back and right now you changed. Kati wakola mu omukondo. That time I was really tiny, eh? But that was time still. Nali muto. I was young. Forget about the guys that are big in their 20s, eh? Some of us, I know relatives of mine that are that size ngate basajja bakulu. Kitegi. The toys anakonzi ja kuchuma. Deep in coffee, Sami, na Ntume, Sharon, how are you? Hey. Anna Maria Traders, Zigoti. Hey. Muli the Anna Maria Traders abatumiddeko. Temwera bila oboli kumiti ana road imira ke Zigoti. Ononye duka lya Anna Maria Traders obaguleko ebintu. Is the music loud? Ngabadde wansi. Kamojjeko. Mweba guy, time is time. The evolution of cars. When I look at the cars I've driven over the years, and atokumanyanga time can take over. I'm driving a car from the bond. I never plan to drive a car from the bond. That's the one thing you need to know. Nze sadda ka unengamba ndoza ngende mu bondi ngule mmotoka eyo. Okitegeera time has a way of taking over, especially if you're rebellious. Okitegeera nzovuga mmotoka ya bond nali badde nkisobola. But I was never there, and I said I think I want to drive a car from the bond. Tekimbeerangako. But for me it just happened. Okitegeera. It just happened. You remember what happened with the Kavits? You remember what happened with the Kavits? The Kavits I drove first, and then it was bought, and then I transformed and bought another one, and then that one was bought too, and then I bought another one, and then that one I drove for only like 6 hours. Okay, I just drove it. I took it home. The next day I brought it back. I came with it to town. We did the inspection, and then that person bought it, and then I bought this car that I have. There is never a day that I planned that I'm going to go to the bond. Okay, no. As a matter of fact, I think buying a car from the bond is one of the things that I never decided to do. It happened. It happened. That's why I admire people that decide that Omani something in name of bond, because for me there is always a lot of things that need to be done. There is always a lot of things that need to be done, but time took over. When the time is time, when it's time, it's time. Obweche ekintu okubawo bwe buba butuuse. Wano nagulawo ko jibu around here. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying. Time will be time, whether you like it or not. I bought jibu from around here. Wao wanatewa bure. Bano bo balina. Kamba tulize mu chapati. Wamungulira Rolex naye njagala cash. Teri kungamba ata nkugulidde Rolex nenja zikuweereza. Zitusoka tuka ku Airtel Money nange nendo kansa za Rolex. Kale guys, kamaro funa no jibu. Tugende maso. But time is time guys. I remember when my phone was Infinite Note 7, but battery needed to last 15 minutes. Chari wange yanku kumutwe. But when time came, now I'm an iPhone user. Guys, time is time. Obude tebuliko chichichi. Kale mu motoka. Wano wabi nnyo sinza kulika moroka yange nga sinzi gali. Finally tufunye amazzi. Mwe bali kugumikiriza abantu bange. Time. Let me give you an example of how time made me evolve the cars I drove. Nzenga Arthur, I've never sat there ningamba I want to drive a van, I want to drive a minivan. I've never really sat there. Nani negomba super custom for a very long time. Then there is a time I used to admire surf. Mujimanye yo surf. But then with time all those urges go away ningamba. It's just a car. For a very long time super custom you nali njagala. I even told you a story of how I got really close to getting a super custom. That time I was driving a Dudu, and then this guy was willing to do butter with me to give me a super custom, and I had the money to give him to collect butter. Na njagala mu million bidding, I got a million satu, and I had the money, but somehow I resisted the urge of doing that trade. You get? I resisted the urge, and just like that, my love for the super custom went. It vanished. Nemvuga Dudu yangi. And you know how I came to buy a Dudu? I had a Caldina. And Mukaldina yonga mwajira bijira yaliko nebipande. Yaliko ebipande because eyo Caldina je mwalabi yatikanga sound. nga waggulu wabeerayo flight case ne base ne muno munda ne mwiramu full ranges ne bases okitegeera kati wano maaso nga wali badde watulawo babiri nga tulawo nga basatu oba bana then ne tulumba sound. Then before the Caldina I did naina akayongeza naye akayongeza kantama nenkatundira ku kkubo. Then when naina Caldina, somehow it was time for me to buy a van, and that's how I bought a dudu najigule million nyana ekitundu naye kati bagambe ginonye yenye ekitundu etambula, and I bought it 4.5 and it was moving nga teyina buzibu okujjako wiring. Ezo dudu zifa nnyo wire nti wire zikutuka bukutusi okitegeera, but I bought a dudu without even planning. Netugigwako eyo musajja nga agitunda naye nga yali nkole wansi eyo. Yeah, but I bought a dudu which I hadn't planned. Along the way when I built my first house in Kasangati, nga nyina okutunda dudu, nga nyina it was just time. Nga dudu eyina courage, nga dudu eyina okugenda, and I sold it nenzirayo mu kibina. Then afterwards nenzirayo mu dudu, kibina eyo yennyini gye nakola butter, nenzirayo mu dudu. Then I think when nava ku eyo dudu, I sold it and I didn't have a car for like over 3 months. But during those 3 months I was planning, I wanted to buy a newer car. And for that time, I borrowed a car from a friend and I was driving that. Until I bought my Vitz, the first car I bought that was really expensive. I bought the Vitz at 10 million. It was time. You know, some things, when you look back and you see how things happen, actually you realize someone had planned for those things to happen. Yeah, okay, if not God, then the universe. Because I understand we believe differently. There is a higher power that knows when things are supposed to happen, how they are supposed to happen, and all that. When you look at how things were happening then, you realize that okay, things were supposed to happen that way, not in any other way. They could have happened in any other way, but no, they happened in this way because that's what it was supposed to be. And you realize that me going through all those cars, then I accumulated the knowledge, and then then I went ahead to be able to share the knowledge with people that would otherwise still have to go through the same hassle that I went through to get the knowledge, and then by then it will not be helping them. Right? And then during the lockdown, there are things I went through I cannot say the lockdown was bad for me. No, it wasn't. There was a struggle during the lockdown that was literally, I think any ambitious person went through that struggle. The struggle of not being able to do something that you want to do. That struggle, I find that literally every ambitious person went through that phase when they believe things should be working and then they are not. I used to rent on this building before the lockdown. I used to rent at the very top floor. Lockdown happened and then we had to downgrade. So anyway, and before that building, I think I used to rent at the other building. You see Kanakazimbe Kakawesa, that Bakaita what plaza, this Kawan. This is Kawesa's building. Remember the Kawesa, the IGP. And then I used to rent on this red building first. I used to be, I think, on the I first was in the basement. That's where I started from. Eventually, you realize it's time. When I came to this building in 2018, I was still studying my first level of marketing, and I went and worked for someone for some time. I worked for someone for a month. I just wanted to test the ground. See, and then I came and started my own business here. I started in a friend's computer shop. Things were happening. It was time. Sometimes when people say things, you think they are lying. It's just time. It's just time. It's not even up to them. It's not like they are brilliant. I was watching an interview some time back, and someone was saying, for Facebook to work out, it's not like Zuckerberg is the brightest person in the world. For Tesla and all those companies owned by Onogai and Yoyo, Elon Musk, his things to work, it doesn't mean he's the most brilliant person in the world. It's just time and opportunity, and of course being in the right place. So travel life vlog, to panicking. You may be 32, but you should not panic to build. Abantu abambaja ne bazimba myezi 5 nyumba negwa buli kimu ngate nyumba gyamaze athagizimbidde emyaka 5 okitegera buba budde bwo kati me I can tell you na twasomanga n'abaana kusomera babanga ne sukali negweke ne kati ngandi bulungi okubasinga. It's just the time okitegera, and of course your time is also either empowered by your parents or not. Bazadde basobola okuyambako for bwe bakupreparinga, bakutwala amasomero amalungi, bwe bakuliisa emmere eri health obwongo bwo ne buba nga bukola nnyo, bwe bakola emikwano emirungi egiguidinga. That's why me I want to have friends nga abaana bange babeera inspired, they go and see ne balabanga byamaanyi nga nabo balina okubituukako. That's one of the reasons why I want a PhD before I'm 42, and I'm going to get the PhD before I'm 42. So next year ngenda tandika research wa masters, because gwembuzaayo masters njimale bulungi, and then when I'm done with my masters I can then publish. I have to publish, I think, a book, over 4 papers. I want to publish those things during next year. When I masters, I publish a book, and then after my masters, immediately like this, I need about 15 million for my PhD. It's a send just I get a PhD, mumpite doctor one. But all those things are time. There is a time I even got a scholarship to go to Leeds, but it was half bursary. Ngendo gata mu sente ze netago gendo surviving a Leeds. Nengamba kansigale Kampala, and I let that scholarship go. At that time I really wanted to go and study arts management and administration, and it just wasn't the time. But you realize nafuna half bursary nengano kubikola na ye right now masters in JWD, and I'm happy about it. It's just the time, guys. When it's time, it's time. Normally when you find people talking about how when it's time baba bogera kufa, abantu abasinga bagamba time is time, bogera nnyo kufa. But of course it doesn't mean that because time is time tokora. You need to work hard. You need to really work hard. You need to plan. But of course plan is omukama akuyambe ko in time bikwateyo mbudde bwabyo. I've seen people that place bids to work with big organizations. Me, I've done some work with big organizations, and I've never placed a bid anywhere for those particular projects. Oboli yaunga bakuweereza message, oboli yaunga email eze okitegeera, would like to work with you. Olumu nolowooza n'okulowooza bafere, and then ogenda okuba engaging nga si bafere nga you do work. But that's how you are decided to force us to register for VAT. Mwagenda okulanga mwakolayo ku business ennene, kakati mumusasule VAT. That's how they decide who should pay VAT and who should not. So it's time. Obudde buba budde. And then the other thing that I realized, if you said to panicking, tumanyi background z'abantu. Bw'oba tomanyi background ya muntu gwe gw'olowooza nti mwenkana emyaka ali bulungi okusinga, gwe nga tomanyi wajja avudde, tomanyi naawe wajja ovudde. Nze kati kyepima ku bantu. There is this dude nabanyumiza oli omu America, then he was telling me how he was an orphan at 7 years, and for him he feels being an orphan at 7 years is big. And for some time I listened to him until it became a rant. He's telling me I was using drugs at 17. You get? And like, using drugs is a choice. You can't come and start giving it as an excuse for not achieving anything. You get? And then there were all these other things that he was saying. Nabida Ganti, yeah, you're struggling and you. I'm going to read these comments, guys. I'm going to read the comments. So guys, what did happen to you? No, Nabida Darangabari Budde. And you realize, man, this is time. This is not me. This is not my work. This is time. This is time. I have a friend of mine. He's in the industry. He teaches at one of the big schools, and he makes good money. And when he got the job he has now, and he got the job shortly after campus. And one time we were talking, Nangamba, man, Arthur, time is time, man. Of course, he didn't use the exact words, but what he said, I interpreted like that. But he said that before he got that job, he struggled. He struggled. You get, eh? You're struggling. And then he was together with his woman, the woman he still has right now. Then I didn't ne chairman wo kukola akachiko kogenda okukyala because bamuteekako akazitaawo ajja akyale. So he told me, Arthur, when I was struggling, I realized that it was going to be my time soon. Because nti ya struggling nnyo nga n'ekyokulya kinoonya takiraba. N'amala n'addako ewa maama we. He went and started living with his mom. But the 2 weeks that he lived at his mom, that's when the opportunity came up. It was time. Probably he needed to first kulinyako mu kyawakati. And of course I understand there are people that don't have to go through stuff like that. Nga ekyo tagenda kukiyitamu yadde. But majority of people actually go through moments like that. Me, I don't want to say I've ever gone through a moment like that. For me, it has always been uphill, downhill, uphill, downhill, uphill, downhill. It has always been like that. But majority of the time, the uphill is because of me. I make the choice. Then I have to climb the hill, and it's really hard for me. And then I realize, okay, if I had taken the other route, then I would not have had to go uphill. And I think that's when I started embracing mathematics. Bobo soborogata 1 + 1 = 2. No jirabanga in all angles it's going to be 1 + 1 = 2. It will be safer than someone who just doesn't do the math. So that's when I started using the math, and then I started using some of the models that we use. So before I start doing a business or get into a venture, I do the break-even analysis. That's a very powerful tool for the guys that do business. Abakola business in Toronto. Don't ignore that tool at any one moment. The break-even analysis will tell you whether your business has a chance of being profitable or not, because it even tells you the amount of capital you need and all that. And majority of the mistakes that Arthur has made have been business. The sija bagamant have ever been there, a mistake over a relationship, over you get, and my family for some time even wondered, and somehow those are the mistakes that I did not make. Someone packed one, to parking number. This again because we're now in kufunda. Bajja kunkulula oba mbale gateeka wali bwano kyasezza okunkulula ate nnyingi nnyo. Kyasezza okunkulula wano mwandaba nnyingi. Guys, kati ngenda soma comment. Tell us the experience you had. Muwarabanga ddala mukama kati. Because majority of the time, for twogera ku time, abantu abalala bagamba Katonda yabadde mwene ensonga. Siwe kiba, Katonda yabadde mwene ensonga, mutufungulira ddala gobadde tomalaako. Okitegeera. Time to make money when everything you do just works out. Exactly. There are those times when things simply just work out. You know, that's the thing that they say, this person, everything it touches turns into gold. Everything it touches turns into gold. I've always believed in time, whoever chance is also a main factor. So chance factors a prepared mind. Times always tells. Yes, exactly. Time and chance happen to all of us. I know a man in Uganda who was struggling in his late 40s and became rich in his mid 50s. Exactly. Me, I find that it's just you just have to be prepared. That's why I normally tell you guys, bobo sobolo gendo beko kakosko kolo kagateko obeko skill joy gendala, go and do all those things now, because tomanya we binakola ki, tomanya di we binakwatirayo. Kisama Shadrach, good morning. let me see comments just ask me one. Okay, there will always be things to be done. I sometimes choose to please my heart. If you're called at a big guy, by the way, and by the way, I think when you guys started about Jukizaka JKK Agamba, JK Agamba, the house you're stressing about 100 years from now won't be there. Well, I'm looking at Bat Valley Theatre. Bat Valley Theatre yaliwo, but right now nafa bakolera mu tugikolera because we there are not so many options. Ochitegera, it's one of the options. Ochitegera, but Bat Valley Theatre yaliwo. So ekyo kintu je manti ne nyumba yozimbye sawe no one time it's going to be one of those houses zebalabanga zili abandoned. For the guys that watch some of those shows where they show abandoned houses, so you realize that 100 years from now ne nyumba joli mu stressing about emuno hiyo ikumaram. That's why I saw a friend of mine neighbor we musirikale DPC eyusaidize nansana. Now DPC yayagala dokumugula gayi yagana kyokka bazimbana mu kisenyi ne mugamba naye lwaki tokwata sente omusajja zaakuwa ogenda ozimbe ewalala bwa nze njagala ettaka lyange ne mugamba gwe omanye amaanyi DPC gayina bwaba wa mutima mbuya asobola n'okusibako ogusango okitegera ne bakusiba natwalawo na butwazi ate bakusiba bano baba noonya sente zikujjayo mu kkomera nyini be bamuguza n'omuguza asobola okujjayo. So katukwata sente ogende nze wange oli bwajja n'ampa sente nga nzijjayo zentaddewo omuviira tebanzaalira waawo tebampimaawo okitegeera. So Edwin nga muli bato, those phone brands didn't exist when I got my first phone in 2001. It was Ericsson T10. Jose Bugs, what's up? Hey Arthur, good morning. I bought my first car last month and it's a Vitz with the help of your experience. Thanks so much. Amina Aksam. We not only had to buy airtime but also monthly service fee of 20k. Back then a SIM card cost 20,000. Neyalaika mobilu ya mutwaro kati. You know that feeling mbu can't buy from the bond, but man, after driving a good car from the bond, oberanga avuga wheelbarrow. Me, I know one thing. It's just time. Right now, it's time for me to drive this car. It's time for me to drive the car. It's just time. I'm sure to be rationalizing that asobola. I cannot rationalize. I don't think I would buy it. Even now, I don't think I would actually walk into the bond and buy that car. But somehow it's I have a friend of mine yagamba tachasobola kupangisa nyumba nebo mfana ku City Square ngo mu nyumba ya mitwali 5 tachasobola kupangisa. It's time obudde bwo kupangisa waggwako. Derek Lule, good morning. I was an assistant systems admin at Simba Telecom for 3 years until 2010. I felt stagnant, was desperate for more. The money I was making seemed okay for some, but my ambitions were bigger. It was time for you to leave. I resigned and left, and the rest is history. My mom backed me up a lot. For that, I'll always be grateful. Whatever was that day. You need to be the kind of parents that probably JK's mom was and still is. You need to stand by your children and support them. When it's time, it's time. I remember the day I got my job. I took the application that day and left with the contract signed, started working the next day. It wasn't really it wasn't like but it was your time to actually get it. When it's your time, you don't even have to struggle. Guys, I have a meeting at 9. Let me go prepare for the meeting. You see how I go to my meetings. You can at the time when nakubanga nye bikalunga sibaga amasuti ga amatai amasati ga mwaga ga amapesa mbere ya nyiganze. See, and I got the mugamba. But of course, in Gamba, when I put on a suit, but that's for like parties and all. But now this is how I go for meetings. He said, I thought I will never forget the day I felt raised 2K. Chideka to Kampala Road, I walked. Man. But that was the time. kati obwo budde bwekyo bwaggwaawo mukitegera. You remember there is a time I was telling you guys bwoba tonoonyanga ku coin, like as in looking for coins, olina okwebaza mukama nti tonoonyanga ku coins, naye abantu banoonya ku coin. Naffe twanoonyako ku coin nga ndi ne mama Urban nga tufose tunafuna ba Urban ne tunoonyako ku coin, and it was tough, but that was the time. Okitegeera kati awo twavaawo ne tugenda, and we are working really hard tuleme kuddayo eyo, era olwananga nnyo n'otaddayo eyo naawe Edrin. Buli olaba nga waliwo ekyagala okukuza ekyo, olaba nze buli ndaba omuntu amalira andeko negative energy bikinze nga nkusalako nga ngenda nkola ebirala, okitegeera. Mugalasi Joshua Mix Muyombya Mark Tusime Eddie Nick Waboye Nathan Mutumba Pade Bridget Kakai Joseph Bali Kudembe Saith Kagaba Football Tribe Kenya Abe Toddy Ronald bana namadda chikanga kuminga neyogeza Steve Barros Majwala Julius Travel Life Vlog Toddy Ronald Chiemba Dennis bana temwera birankola pre-purchase inspection ali yinzo kudown ewera bidanti anamu 5 nchageetaga to upgrading nini twakobaka tugenda kwesanga network kiba nange JFK Arts Sami Deep in Coffee Anna Maria Traders Zigoti Nantume Sharon Shane Setuba Sebugwao Medi Chitumba Solomon Kasibante Akisam Jose Bags Kisa Mashadrak Africa Carota Derek Lule Chiza Thomas and Salekazi. Guys, I wish only 450 around the Kampala Central Business District. Look at your cars. May the good Lord bless you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Ciao.